Managed to nail his opener at 155. This is it. Very comfortable lift. He then called for 158 after that. And, I'm afraid he failed 158 twice. There was some confusion as to who was meant to be the next lifter in order after a decision was overturned by the jury, and Kerimaj was the victim of that. Now Daniel Gudeli managed to miss his opener at 155, rolled the dice here to go for 157 for his second lift. Now watch the lockout here. Did the arms bend? Well, the referees thought it was a fail, 2-1, but then the judges stepped in and said no, they were happy it's a good lift. Gudeli always has a poor lockout. You see a lot of movement on the right arm there. But even when his arms are fully locked, they actually aren't totally straight. Well, a similar story for Martirosyan. He failed his opener at 155. And then he came out for his second lift at 157. This his only success in the snatch, but ultimately he is the lighter man than Gudeli, and nobody else was to beat it. So this ended up being the gold medal lift. Looking very comfortable, the Armenian. He has an incredible snatch PB of 177 at a heavier body weight. Manages to take the lead in the overall competition, and the gold in the snatch. And something we noticed is he just seemed to lack a bit of, well, power, and perhaps that's because he's come down from a heavier weight. And in weightlifting, unlike in some other sports, you have to weigh in not long before you start. There isn't a great deal of time to rehydrate, repower, refuel. So 180 on the bar, just shy of 400 pounds.
Wow. So, you question his leg strength. Stands up with it okay. Not the easiest of lifts that I've seen. I almost want to say that he's taken a warm-up, his last warm-up attempt, only a couple of minutes before he's called out onto the platform. Obviously, we saw all the other lifters change their weights. Maybe he hadn't anticipated that. But here we see a squat jerk. Oh, dear. There are three types of jerks: a power jerk, a split jerk, and a squat jerk. A split jerk is what we will see most lifters do. A power jerk is basically what we've just seen, but catching it a lot higher. That was an attempt at a squat. Yeah, squat jerk, it's fair to say the most technical of all. Well, the hardest. I can honestly say I've never even put it into any of my training regimes because I don't have the shoulder flexibility. Indeed, yeah. You're going down into what is a snatch position at the bottom with your arms very narrow apart. Now, Rosu, Alexandru Rosu of Romania, coming out for 180 as well. He hit all of his snatches. 148 his best. I like his snatches, catching that very high. Oh. Well, that almost looked like he over-jerked it. Arms went into lock and then came straight out again. That's very frustrating. That's what happens if you try and snap your arms out at the end. Ideally, you want to be catching the weight overhead, not snapping at it. Clean, no problems. Yeah, they went to lock and came back out. Well, after missing a first attempt, as we discussed earlier, it does put the lifter under quite a bit of pressure.
Dimitrov, eyes up 180. Managed 148 in the snatch, failing 150 on his final attempt there.
This is not a good start to the competition. He needs to put that pain in his upper trap out of his mind if he's going to come out here and be successful. I saw him struggling with that in the snatch.
So 3 attempts at 180, 3 failures, I'm afraid. One more man is called for 180, and that's Semi Yagsi of Turkey. You can see at the top of the graphic, it's giving you the total score he would achieve if he gets this as well, which would give him 325, which would automatically put him ahead of Arakel Mirzoyan of Armenia, who lifted in the B group earlier, who is still currently leading on 322 kilograms in terms of total.
Well, that bar sitting very wonky on his shoulders. Yeah, good lift overall. Just trying to work out why I do this all the time when I'm analysing lifts. If there's a wonkiness like that, there's obviously an imbalance somewhere in the body. He's pulling with his right arm. Looks like he's quite tight through his left side, pelvis and ribs quite close together. That's what's causing the line of the bar to not sit straight.
Yeah, just causing some kind of imbalance. And we are back to Richard Tkac of Slovakia, who managed to get under it, caught it without a problem, and was standing up, and then I'm not sure whether it was just lights out. And we've discussed he looks like he's struggling with cutting the weight. Whether he's really got the power to finish this off.
Well, not only is a squat jerk really hard to execute, but it's even tougher when you're this tall. He's got long levers. Oh, very impressive when it's done. That is super hard to execute.
Yeah, it's brilliant to watch, isn't it? And 180 it is then. Goes clear, and overall goes into the lead. 330 kilograms his total, added to the 150 snatch he managed. Puts him 5 ahead of Yagsi, the European champion of 2011, who's somewhat down on his weights of the past. 192 is Yagsi's personal best. Alexandru Rosu coming out for 180 again. So we'll put him into second overall.
It's better catching the bar at arm's length this time. Shake of the head, disappointed that he didn't do that on his first attempt. When you only get 3 attempts, you can't afford to waste silly ones. Big drive, arms nicely locked.
Oh, sigh of relief there, and again he's hit his 180. He's got a total now, and it's back over to Dimitrov, who came out scowling at the bar earlier. Seems to have some kind of problem with the upper right side of his back.
was a big effort. That's going to take quite a lot out of him. Good overhead. Needs to stand still, though. Well, he's in a lot of pain, but he's also in the competition, so...
Well, when you add that to Dimitrov's 148, it puts him on a 328 total, but by virtue of body weight, he's behind Rossi, who's also on 328. And Tkach leads on 330 overall. We still have 5 men to join in this clean and jerk, and that was right on the limit. I'm not sure there's too much more there.
No, I don't think so. The clean was hard. Jerk. He's not a bad jerk. He's quite good, quite strong in the overhead position, just taking a couple of steps forward. It's fine so long as you stay on the platform. Didn't
wait long there between his clean and his jerk, did he?
No, the longer you wait, the more it takes out of you. So you want to stand from the clean, set yourself and go fairly sharpish. But at the same time, you need to take enough time to get a bit of oxygen in and to focus on what's ahead.
Some running repairs here on Dimitrov. We're expecting... Well, it's gone to Semi Yaxi on 181, but he's now obviously gone up. So it's over to Pippa of Moldova on 182 to open his account in the clean and jerk. Pippa hit 151 in the snatch. That was good enough for 5th place.
See how much the arms are shaking in that position. That was harder than it should have been. Obviously the warm-up had gone fairly well for him to up his starting weight from 180 to 182. But I wasn't overly convinced with that. I think there's a bit more room for improvement.
As you said earlier, he's very long-armed, isn't he?
Yes, he did. He mistimed the bounce at the bottom as well, which took more out of it than it needed. Hands are quite close. Somebody with such wide shoulders really needs to have his hands another inch or so wider, but some lifters, like myself, really struggle to get their hands into that position. Puts a lot of strain through the wrists and the elbows.
Yeah, you do see some lifters going, if they're flexible enough, going very wide, almost trying to turn it into
if only I
a
could do
snatch
that.
at the top.
Well,
Yeah,
the reason for moving the hands wider is there's less distance for the bar to travel overhead, so technically it's more efficient.
182. Dimitrov, who just got the 180. This is a huge ask here.
Well, that's what you call the sticking point.
Oh my goodness.
Needs to stand still. Well,
I think his elbows were all right.
Give him credit for that. That was a massive fight.
182, 3 white lights, and a huge congratulations there to Dimitrov of Bulgaria.
Just watch how hard this clean is. Almost stops. So he does stop.
You see a lot of lifters just giving up there. That was a lot of heart. And then this second battle, goodness.
Gutsy lift.
From start to finish, he must have been wrestling with that weight for about 10 seconds there. That's it can be all over in a couple of seconds. .185 for Nanyan of Russia. The youngster hit 152 in the snatch, missing 156. His very best, he's hit 192. He's the world junior champion from last year. And indeed the world youth champion from 2011.
Tremendous leg strength. Just, oh goodness me, look at the end of the bar. There's a 2.5 kilo weight inside the 5. Well, yeah, he's got every right to be annoyed with that. That is a mistake.
A misload?
Yeah, definitely a misload. Can't cover that one up, I'm afraid. Well, it's a sign of a good lifter. Only realised once the bar was on his shoulders. Yeah, there's boos from the crowds, and quite rightly so. That is an error from the loaders. And it's quite dangerous, you know, if the bar's misloaded, it can put the lifter off and cause muscle pulls. So, and it's going to take a lot out of him. That's, you know, a big effort. You only get 2 or 3 efforts that are maximal, and to recover from each one is tough. He's now got to recover from an extra one that he hadn't planned on.
Instantly knew that it was wrong there.
There's nothing you can do there when the bar's on your shoulders. You've got to go for it.
Well, Mr. Johansson walks over, president of the jury.
Well, this will all be taking time, which is a good thing. Gives him more recovery. They've got to give him at least 2 minutes now before he comes out for that weight again. That's really disappointing, and it's really annoying as an athlete when there's a mistake like that.
So it is Tigran Matrosyan who's been called out next. 185 will open his account, but we're not sure he's going to go here because...
well, that lift should be reinstated. So Unanian should be coming out again for what will be his first attempt again.
And time on the clock there. 1 minute came up.
2 minutes.
Well, I can hear people saying 2 minutes, so they're still glancing up at the screen. And when these things happen, as we said before, there is a chain that it has to go through for all of the different jobs. It's frustrating for everyone, of course, most of all for the lifter, but he's just got to keep his cool here.
Well, it's frustrating. That was definitely a mistake from the loader. However, the centre referee's job is also to make sure that the bar is loaded correctly. So the buck, I think, stops with the centre referee. The jury, you could see them shaking their head there because they then would have been the next people to see it. So it's kind of a chain of people that should have stopped that happening. Very unfortunate. It's a mistake. That's all it is.
So it's Tigran Matrosyan who is going to come out for 185, and presumably Unanian is going to follow on 185 after him. But at the moment it's showing as a missed lift, so we'll have to wait and see. Matrosyan 157 was his best snatch. He took the gold in the snatch by virtue of body weight ahead of Gadelli.
Wow, very, very strong in the legs. Great speed driving out of the clean. And again, massive leg strength, massive leg drive. Generate as much height on the bar as he did for the power jerk.
Well, we saw the squat jerk earlier. There's our perfect example of the power jerk. Doesn't dip as low as we've seen.
He might need
Great
to
power
when the weight gets heavier, but that was definitely a power. I'm looking at the scoreboard thinking Unanian must have gone up from 185.
Yeah, 186 appears on the scoreboard at the moment, and 185, and Alexandru Rosu is coming out now.
He would have gone up to 186 to give himself a little more time to recover.
Yeah, he certainly looked very strong in the clean phase anyway. Now Rosu hit 180 on his second attempt.
Oof. Well, trying to do too much with his upper body, not really using his legs to full advantage. It's not a great day in the office.
Rosu did 3 out of 3 in the snatch, 148 is best there for 7th place in the snatch, then 180 his best. And that means his total is 328, which leaves him in 5th position overall. Still leading overall is Matrosyan on 342. Well, big cheers here for Razmik Unanian. If you've just joined us, then he came out to lift, but the bar was misloaded on his left-hand side. He failed the lift. Now he's gone up a kilogram to 186 to buy himself some time here. is a big test for the junior world champion.
Needs to steady himself. You get away with that. Close to elbow movement there.
Yeah, certainly shoulder movement, but surely the referees are going to be kind to him after their previous mistake in the load. And 3 white lights it is, 186 for the Russian. Well, if he'd have been given red lights there for his elbows, it would have been, I think there could have been a riot in the audience.
He was good there, no movement. Just looked to be in an awkward position. I think it's the way his feet were, made it look even more wonky.
Gideli came in very late in the snatch competition, failed his opener. He's coming at 186 here, and that means just Kedemaj, the other Albanian, is still to join. Had real trouble with his lockout in the snatch, and again that was dodgy with the left arm there. There was a wobble. See what the referees think. 3 white lights. They obviously take into account the fact that he can't perfectly lock out that left arm.
That they shouldn't, yeah, take it into account, but at the same time there shouldn't be any movement. I think what we're seeing there is more the body trembling than an actual lockout. Remember, these are heavy weights now, and there's a lot of strain going through the arms and the shoulders.
Saviagsi, European champion from 2011, has jumped 6 kilograms to 186. Because of a fairly weak snatch, 145. He's sitting all the way down in 8th in the overall race. This would bring him up to 6th.
Oh, the bar was at arm's length, slightly in front though. He pushed himself back away from the bar. So disappointing when you've given so much effort on the clean. Not the tidiest of techniques, pulling with the arms way too early. Does not allow the legs to be as efficient as they should be.
This is how it stands so far. First attempts, 186, good for both Gideli and Unanyan of Russia. The Armenian on 185, Pippa on 182. All of them still have 2 more lifts to come. Kedemaj, though, has yet to join in. He's posted a 187 opener. Areas right down the bottom, just below the Moldovan Kaptari, who failed in the B group earlier today. Well, we expect Kedemaj to come out next on 187. It's going to be a tight race, this. All of the athletes who are close in the snatch, Gideli, Martirosyan, Kedemaj, are also very closely matched in the clean and jerk. Now, Artyom Pippa goes from 182 to 187, which would give him a total good enough to bring him into 4th position.
No way. His left arm was never locked there.
Yeah, he taps his lower back there. Hopefully that battle hasn't taken too much out of him. He still has 1 more attempt to come. I imagine he'll probably come out in 187 again, as that was...
And he's complaining of a back injury, but the starting position doesn't help that. He was so far over the bar. But all the weight was on his lower back, rather than being able to drive effectively with the legs as it came off the floor.
From that angle, they wouldn't have seen his bent arm, though, so they probably thought it was a fair fight as he was trying to go for it. But From right early on, he didn't catch it properly. Now, Semi Yagsi comes out for his final attempt. 187. He's gone up a kilogram. He's got 180 on the scoreboard. Successful from his first lift. But from 3 years ago, when he's the European champion, he is well down. 192, his very best from back then. So, ranked 8th position, that's it. His day is over. 325 kilograms is total.
Never really got up to that, did he? Never really fully extended.
Yeah, and just didn't have the power like he did 3-4 years ago.
That's what age does to you.
I'm afraid so, yeah. He is 26 years old, Sami Yagsi. So, a weightlifter's life, like in many different sports, depends how many miles you have on the clock. Some people burn out at a much younger age. Others seem to have a very long career. A little bit of luck, a little bit of how well you look after yourself. Now, here is Erkan Kerimaj, who's going for 188 as his opener. This is the last man to join in the competition. And were he to get it, and he would go into first position by virtue of body weight.
Well, he's just made up the deficit from the snatch. He was behind by a couple of kilos. He's now back on a level playing field with 2 attempts still to go.
Good job. 3-4-3 he's on. And it's Gadeli, actually, who is in the lead. 3-4-3. No, I was right. He 3-4-3. He should go into the lead. 76.68 is 2 grams lighter, isn't he? So the graphic wrong there. 2 grams the difference. Kerimaj will be happy he gave himself that haircut. Here's Richard Tkach on 188. 8 kilograms more. Didn't look comfortable at all in the first one. And you'll see the squat jerk technique here in a moment or two. This is a really big jump. Tkach is on a 330 total at the moment. If he were to get this, it would take him to 338. Which would leave him in 4th position. Big ask. Really big ask. I think that was just a hit and hope, wasn't it?
Well, I think we both sat here thinking, why go for an 8 kilo increase? Maybe trying to make up for the missed lift.
Well, I guess I can only assume that what is his personal best? My handwriting's so bad I can't actually tell. 185 is his personal best. So yeah, I was about to say, is it well within his personal best? No, it isn't, is the answer. And it seems he's been off form. Now let's have a look here. Richard Tkach, 358. Now I'm not sure if the leaderboard's exactly right there.
No, he's
because
not,
I've got him on 330, and so ignore that. It should be Kerimaj who's in first place at the moment. So just forget what you've just seen. It is Kerimaj who leads. Martha Rosyan, who is in 3rd, is coming out now to try and attempt 190. Gadeli, the other Albanian, is in 2nd. Now, were he to get this, Martrosyan would go to 347 total, well ahead of the 2 Albanians.
So close. There's just no room for error on the squat jerks or the power jerks. It's got to be dead overhead. You cannot chase it if it's slightly in front, slightly behind. Precision is everything, and that's a reason why very few lifters attempt these kind of lifts.
Yeah, you were right, though. The power jerk at 185 turned into the squat jerk at 190.
Well, this is something that really gets me. Why does an athlete do, for example, a power snatch in the warm-up room, and then as the weight gets heavier, they sink lower and lower and lower? You see it all the time at internationals, all the time at national events. Why not warm up doing a full squat lift so that when you step foot onto the platform, your body knows the position it needs to be in? It's the same here. We often see lifters come out doing a power jerk because they can, and then as the weight gets that bit heavier, they have to go into a squat position. They're cold in that position because they haven't warmed up through it.
Yeah, it's a very good point indeed. I guess they feel they can hit the groove, and they've just practiced it so much, but you're right, there's nothing like doing it just moments before to really get yourself in the groove. So Martirosyan at the moment is following himself at 190. Gadelli for his second lift is going for 191. And the leader of the whole competition, Keramaj, who hit 188 for his opener, is looking like coming out at 191 as well. We still have Unanyan, the young Russian, as well, and Pippa. No luck. No, it wasn't enough time to recover there. Didn't even get under it in the clean phase. So Martirosyan goes out with a 185 clean and jerk. He is still currently in third place thanks to the win in the snatch, 157. Things could change here. Unanyan, who has a big clean and jerk in the past, the junior world champion. He's down in fourth position overall on 338, 4 kilograms behind Martirosyan. So were he to hit, let's just say 192, then he would leapfrog him and more.
He needs 4 kilos on Keramaj to go ahead. And when you get to this kind of level, the coaches and the athletes are going to take whatever weights they need to put themselves in medal position.
Here comes Unanyan, charging out onto the stage, brimming with confidence. 191 kilograms on the bar. This will take him up to 343 and into third place. Slightly heavier on body weight than Gadelli.
Oof, no, he's not getting that.
Oh my goodness. Close.
Again, problems with doing a power jerk. At least with a split jerk, when you move your feet forwards and backwards, if it's slightly in front, you can lunge to get yourself back underneath it. You can't do that on a power.
Yeah, you got some wriggle room. That right arm just gave way there. And, well, at the moment, Unanyan still sits down in fourth position. That says third there, but Martirosyan is on 342. This is the clean and jerk standings, of course. So leading the clean and jerk at the moment is Keramaj on 188. And here comes Gadelli, 191. This will take him from second overall into first, and the lead of the clean and jerk.
No. Too much today. One attempt to go. This is, I think the gold medal is going to be won by the most consistent lifter here. Really yanks at that from the floor. Strong legs, though.
Keramaj on 343, equal with Gadelli. And by virtue of 2 grams of body weight, Keramaj leads his compatriot. Martirosyan is in third, a kilogram behind. Unanyan still has one more lift to go. So does Pippa, down on 333. If he were to hit something big, then he could jump up into the top 3 as well. So this is definitely not a done deal yet. There's Martirosyan, who sits 4th in the clean and jerk, but 3rd in the overall. You'll be hoping Unanyan with 1 lift left, and indeed Pippa missed their final lifts. Now Pippa is going to jump from 182 all the way to 191 if he hits it in terms of success, having failed 187. So Pippa failed 187. He's now, unless he's pulled out, is calling for 192. That's a glory lift. It's Unanyan who's coming out though. 192 it is. Oh no, here we go. It is Pippa first up. So he's not pulled out. Let's not forget, look at this. 182, fails 187, now comes out at 192.
This is 7 kilos above his personal best.
It will take him up to 343. By virtue of body weight, he'll be in the overall gold.
Stop!
Well, I think the way he came off the platform after his second attempt, he's obviously struggling with something.
You can only assume this is a weight he's done in the training hall or at some point in the recent past, and the game plan was to come out and do something like this.
No, I don't reckon he's done that before. That's so far above his best. Looking at the way he attempted it, he never really fully committed, never really dug deep enough for it.
It's just madness then, isn't it? Why would you do it? 7
kilos above his best. I think it was a hit and hope attempt.
So, Unanyan, this is very doable. 192 would take him up to 344, and by a kilo he'd be ahead of both Albanians. Overall gold, clean and jerk gold position.
That was a good clean, stronger than the last attempt. He's got it. Stand still. Oh no!
Hang on.
He's giving it the scream. That's an attempt to intimidate the referees, as if to say, I had it. In my view, he put that down before the referee signal. He was under control, but not long enough to wait for the down signal. I would have failed that.
He's had a tough night, hasn't he? Seeing as he came out for his first clean and jerk and it was misloaded. He certainly had to wait a long time there, but was he ever really under control? He was shifting backwards, and I think Mr. Johansson... Let's have a listen. Well, they're saying he was standing.
Over. Goodness me, no. I thought his body crumbled before the down signal.
Little discussion here. Let's see if we can listen in. They're saying he never stopped. He felt he never stopped.
I don't think he stopped.
Be interesting. The side judges have a better view than anyone of movement forwards and backwards.
If we see the replay, we need to be able to get.
And this will take him up into gold in both clean and jerk and overall.
Well, I think the movement we saw there is soft elbows, not a press out. You'll get that.
Tough night for the referees and jury, because you're right, it's very soft elbows, but we've seen it before with Gudeli, and they're happy with that. So he goes into first place overall with that 192 by virtue of body weight, 76.7, and Anyan 76.8. Yes, by virtue of body weight, he's ahead in the clean and jerk, and comfortably ahead on overall total.
Well, worth noting now that Kerem Isaac, you can see in picture there, who's looking at the scoreboard, he's had a very long wait since his first attempt.
Got 2 lifts though, so you can have a warm-up miss potentially.
Well, this will put him into gold medal position on the clean and jerk, but only 2nd overall if successful.
Yeah, take him up to a 348 total, 1 down on Gudeli.
Look look at the clock to see how long he has left. Loads of time. Very short on the extension, threw his shoulders back to compensate. Great jerk, great drive to arm's length, needs to stand still. See, now he's given the down signal before his feet were even in line. But he's holding it long enough to show, look, I'm in charge, I'm the boss.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? That's good from Karamaj, who's gone to 3-4-8 in the total, one behind Gadelli. And what does he need to do? He's got one lift left, one lift in the entire tournament. In terms of body weight, 76.68, Gadelli 76, so he's 2 grams lighter. All he needs to do is 1 more kilogram to take him to 349 to equal Gadelli in the overall, and by virtue of body weight he'll take the win. So it's pretty obvious he'll go for 194 then, you'd assume.
Well, you would assume so. Let's hope he doesn't do anything crazy.
What's his personal best out of interest? 196. We're getting dangerously close to that. Onanyan, we know, is going to get a medal. Medals. He'll get one from the clean and jerk and the total. Bronze medal in both. And Gadelli currently the bronze in the clean and jerk. Overall, he's in the gold medal position. This one lift is to move this man, Karamaj, from the silver medal overall to the gold overall.
He's coming out early. It's hard for the body to fully recover. He's going on adrenaline here. If I were coaching him now, I'd hold him back for another 20-30 seconds to make maximum use of the time.
6th place at the World Championships in 2013.
The last jerk was good. Does he have the legs to drive? He has. Can he recover? Feet back in line.
He rides the wave of adrenaline. He is the European champion. 349 kilograms. He's equal with Gadelli, and it is a great night for Albanian weightlifting. 3 out of 3. And he's just ecstatic with that. Hit 155 in the snatch, failed 158 twice, and still managed to come through and take the overall gold, and indeed the clean and jerk gold, the bronze in the snatch. Really good night then for Karamaj. Well, it's had a few little blips along the way, that's fair to say.
Well, I think the referees were under a lot of pressure. I think the jury were as well. I'm not sure they were all the right decisions, but that's the way the competition goes.
Here's the leaderboard for the clean and jerk. Karamaj 194, 2 kilograms ahead of Gadelli and Onanyan, who Onanyan, being the heavier man, has to settle for 3rd there. Martirosyan further down in 4th position on 185. Sean Clegg, who went earlier on in the B group, hitting a 160, failing 165. Well, we'll get confirmation for the overall in a moment or two. Let's have a look at this final lift again. It was all down to this. Karamaj came charging out. Looked comfortable at just 1 kilogram below this for a second. There's 194 to take the overall gold, the European title.
Great jerk position, body lovely and straight, feet split nice and evenly forwards and backwards.
Just so happy to win it as well on what was a very eventful night. You could say beforehand he was probably the favourite for this category, so holding his nerve in the end on the final lift. 2 men on 349, 2 Albanians, but he is the lighter of the 2. Razmik Onanyan